This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with SB Sports in Chaco. We're delighted to be joined once again by the man we've never met in person, but I've interviewed you so much, Kevin Cronin. How are you, mate?
Oh, good man. What's happening?
That's probably a good way to introduce the sort of the friendly relationship we've had. We've spoke so much on Zoom and on the phone and everything else, and we've never actually met in person. So we're going to get an occasion. You're, I don't know. I have it sneakily in my head that you'll be in Belfast in 2 weeks' time, and I don't know for obviously Dominic's fight, but sure, I think you're going to surprise me one of these days, or I'm going to surprise you one of these days, and it's going to be like like a long lost cousins reunited or something like that.
Don't be cutting me down now, will you?
But here, you never know. But obviously, I think the last time we spoke was probably around November, December time. I think maybe you were obviously supposed to be fighting, and then obviously your fight fell through. Well, we spoke afterwards. Obviously, that you're supposed to be fighting on the Gary Hyde show as well. But obviously you've had sort of a tough time. It's probably a fair way of sort of saying it. You've had a tough time at boxing. You obviously haven't had a fight since June of last year. Not that you haven't had to want a fight, but obviously just bad luck as in boxing. When it finds you, it's hard to get rid of. How's things with you?
Yeah, look, things are good now because we have that fight date. But yeah, that's been a tough 12 months now, to be honest with you. Look, in fairness, I did several times think of is the sport worth being in? Will I go back amateur? Will I give the elite the crack before Paris? And I really did give that a thought. I talked to people about it, but I think that was just me getting more jumping to thinking of things because I was having a rough time in the sport. Fairness, the time I've put in now, a lot of people have left the sport over similar things, but they happen for a reason, don't they?
I don't
really know what else to say about it. It's been a rough old ride for the last while. We had that show that was meant to be in Dublin in October. We're ready for an 8-rounder there for that one. To be told it's not happening, but to stay training because there's a possibility of fight in England in December. Then we got told we had a fight in December. We did have a fight in December. Show and all went ahead 2 days before opponent. Something happened with the opponent. He get injured or something. I actually don't know. I never asked. Something happened with the opponent. Everything was booked. Everything was paid for. So that was another blow. Then it was to get in camp or to stay in camp. It is fight coming up for me 100% near him. It was told it was local to me and all that, and I still didn't know what it was at that stage. So I just stayed training, ready for an 8-rounder again. In the Gary Hyde show in Cork, and then obviously that fell through. The show fell through the last week. So yeah, been a tough ball run of it. Still in camp. Haven't been out of camp. Had a weekend away for the brothers staying, and that was it. That was my only break in between. We've been training hard and grinding hard since.
I think I'd sort of spoke to you obviously whenever, because I guess sometimes people see fights pulled off and everything else, and they don't realize that obviously a fighter can suffer through it all. And I'd obviously give you a phone call, probably more to keep you sort of positive and things like that. And I'd sort of mentioned to you, probably some similar, well, same weight class and everything else. Paddy McCrory, when he started off his pro career, had his debut in the SSE and the Burnett Haskins card, and then he had 3 or 4 fights pull through. And obviously look at him now. He's obviously 7th ranked in the world, and he's pushing on. And I guess sometimes you have to go through that pain early on. They obviously sometimes realize why you're actually in the sport.
Yeah, but look, it definitely gives you a good wake-up call to what kind of sport you're in, how things can go very wrong, But yeah, look, just said things happen for a reason. We've had a rough old patch. But yeah, look, we've 4 fight dates as it is, coming up to December, and that's in the space of 6 months. How many fights I've had so far in the last 2 or 3 years, So look, things are looking good, and there's talks of another 1 or 2 in between, which I'm not thinking of right now. They're just obviously get over the first obstacle first in 6 weeks' time and go from there.
Definitely, and obviously the reason for our talk today was not obviously for people to feel sad of Kevin Cronin, and obviously your fight date's fallen through. You're back. I guess sometimes you're sort of going, am I really back? Obviously, until you weigh in and you put the gloves on, are you really back? But you're going to be fighting on a Scott Carlo promotion show on the 15th of July in New York.
Yeah, Newark, Nottingham.
Are you buzzing yet, or is it sort of that feeling of going until?
I will never get that fight buzz until I'm in the ring looking at my opponent across from me ever again. 2 days notice and 3 days notice. These fights ain't happening until they're in the ring with you. Look, I think though it's fairly safe, you know, Newark. Like most of them fights in England go through. Like that one that fell through, it wasn't the card, it was my opponent. And the card that it is the main event is a big fight, you know, and it's actually cracking. But I was actually, you know what, before I even knew that about this show happened, I was thinking of going over anyway, because I followed two guys on Instagram, and it's a cracking fight, Joel McIntyre and Chad Sudgeon. That's light heavyweight English title. That's a cracking fight. So I look forward to dusting my fella off the canvas and sitting down for the night and watching that fight.
And obviously, is still the plan going to be that this fight's going to be at super middleweight? I know you wanted to test the waters at super middleweight coming down from light heavy. Is this still going to be the plan to get a fight at 168?
Yeah, that's the plan. We'll go 168. You know, to be honest with you, we haven't even talked yet about it. We've just been training and keeping everything over the last few months. Diet and everything like that. As I said, 1 weekend away in between, you know, still knocking off the weight from that weekend. You know, that's about it. Like, I'm still a bit over light heavyweight, obviously, but like, I'd say it'd be super middleweight. So that's what I agree on, because I think I'm going to do it handy enough now, to be honest with you. I wasn't saying that before the Cork show, but obviously with the time and the fight falling through, we're figuring out more about the body and learning more, and you know, just getting things right. So yeah, I'd say it'll be 168. 168 for this fight anyway, and we'll get this fight out of the way, and might even see what the story is after that. We've talked a few other things, but look, we've talked different weight classes and all that. But again, I've got to get this fight out of the way before we think ahead.
And obviously, I know for probably any Irish boxers at the moment, you know, it's obviously tough times we're going through. We're probably nearly at the stage where we're 5, 6, 7 fight cards deep, you know, at this stage of the year. With obviously COVID and everything that's going on, it's slowed a lot of things down, and obviously it looks like potentially maybe the end for boxing Ireland. Stephen Sharp left, and Dennis Morrison's left, and it's left Leonard on his own, sort of thinking, can he do a 3-man job in one? How's obviously things sitting with boxing Ireland at the moment with yourself? Are you still under with them, or?
Yeah, look, I think since Stephen left, there's something with the contracts. No, I'm not with boxing Ireland anymore. I get along well with the guys. I'm still in touch with Leonard and all that, and the lads are sound. You know, they've even Leonard himself has offered, you know, anytime we need him in the future, if we decide, you know, to go another route, that he's there for us, to help us in any way we can, which is, you know, like, you can't but respect it, and you can't but respect the work he has done for me all along, you know. Not just Leonard, just Stephen and all the lads in boxing Ireland, you know, they're good a bunch. But look, they've everyone's had a tough run of it, you know, between COVID and everything, and now obviously, you know, getting opponents and stuff is a lot tougher as well since COVID. And look, I'm obviously, it's no secret. I think everyone knows I'm in talks with two new guys about managing me, but that's, you know, that's just talks. And everyone, it's kind of obvious. You know, it was never really any big secret. But look, again, that's besides the point. One of them has got me this fight anyway, even though I haven't signed with anyone in England. He has got me 4 fight dates in the UK, working up until December. And again, look, I haven't really thought about that yet, to be honest with you. We have a fight coming up. They understand that. They know there's no rush with anything. No one's been pushed into anything. We're going to get this fight out of the way. And as I said, September will be the next time I'm out, because I'll be away then. I'm gonna be away for 2 weeks in between, just family things. So I'm gonna be away with them 2 weeks, and then back in September we can talk managers or whatnot in between then. Who knows what the future holds? But look, we've got a win to get July 15th in Newark, Nottingham. So yeah, put on a performance there. Probably be at 168. As I said, haven't talked weights, but I'd be imagining that's the weight that'll be agreed with whoever it'll be.
Yeah, whoever it's going to be. I guess obviously in some ways, obviously, you've been linked to, Jamie Morrissey and Robbie Burke and things in the past. Obviously, your plans to come down and test out super middleweight first. Obviously, I know that the BUI's had obviously an issue with Robbie, obviously rematching Jamie. Jamie obviously fights in 2 weeks' time in Belfast. Is that obviously, I believe he's a both sparred before as well, so he's probably know a wee bit about each other, but is that a fight you sort of...
Me and Jamie have sparred, we sparred 2 or 3 times. Jamie's a good lad. Again, look, me and Jamie get along well. The only reason we're probably not sparring now is because we kind of realised that there probably is going to be a fight with us in the future, but again, we'll see what happens. We both have fights that we have to win. As you said, I've never fought at super middleweight, so this is dipping my toes in the water now with 168. I suppose chances are we're going to end up fighting anyway, but who knows? We gotta get these fights out of the way.
Definitely is, and I guess it's get the 5
all them fights are still in. They're still there. Robbie Burke, Jamie Morrissey, all them fights. They're all still fights for the future. So yeah.
And obviously,
again, I don't want to look too far past July, because I done that in Spain and nearly had a little slip up there by having a bad performance. Obviously, still won the fight well, but made it tough against the fella that I should have been dusting in around it too.
And I guess obviously your old training buddy Dominic Donegan's going to be fighting for the BA Celtic middleweight title in just over 2 weeks' time in Belfast. Obviously, both fighters at one stage as well were both Boxing Ireland fighters. Obviously, I think Dominic's away now. Graham was obviously well away before. Obviously, is that something you're looking forward to? I'm not sure if it's going to be streamed anywhere. I'm not sure if you're going to even be in Belfast yourself with a fight coming up. Is it sort of giving you a wee bit of hunger back to know that domestic fights are still happening?
Yeah, it's definitely give you hunger, like the thought of titles being online, everything like that in Ireland, and Celtic title and the Irish title to come off it, or whatever it might be for the future. Will I be there? I don't know. Again, I'm kind of taking the day at a time now, Joe, worrying about my training. If I've nothing coming up, or if I have a spar or something a good spar I could get in Belfast that weekend, then I'll definitely go watch it. But yeah, that's a cracking fight. Like, obviously Graham's been in great form as well lately with his fights. He's had tough fights and been winning them, and he obviously came close with Paul Keane, is it, over in Scotland. Paul Keane's a good boxer. So yeah, it's a real good scrap, that one.
It's really interesting.
Hopefully I can get to see it, and if not, hopefully there'll be a stream.
I've got an idea. Obviously, if you come up for the weekend, Paddy McCrory is going to be fighting on the SSE card, the Cronin card, so he's going to be meeting sparring partners as well. So we can potentially work it out. You can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Come up and spar Paddy on the Friday or Saturday, watch the fight on the Saturday night, and then go home on the Sunday. We've planned your weekend for you already.
Yeah, I didn't even think of it, because I only actually thought about the spar thing there, as you said, am I coming up? Yeah, that'd be good, actually. It's probably be a great spar for me, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm going to go say it to my coach now after this interview.
Because obviously I guess obviously that's a good thing. Obviously, Jamie Collins obviously just announced. Obviously, it's going out. Jamie Collins' interview's been out before yours, but Jamie obviously mentioned Paddy's going to be on the card, so obviously no doubt he's going to need good sparring. And obviously, what not better sparring than yourself? Obviously, another Irish fighter is going to be fighting at the same weight, so it makes sense. So I'll make a phone call myself after our interview, and obviously see if we can get you skated in for some sparring with Paddy.
100%, yeah, nice one. Really good sparring for the round we need.
But obviously, you're looking forward to a really busy end. 2022, you're potentially going to have 4 fights between now and the end of the year. So probably potentially by the end of 2022, you'll probably be closer to fighting for your first title, or may already have it?
Yeah. Yeah. Look, that's the plan. Be in line for something, or just whatever pops up. I just want to get this win in July, and I want to be really busy. I need to be busy because having a fight in March, then a fight in December, then a layoff for 9 months, it's not really any good. It's like if I was offered a title fight now next week, even though I fully believe I'd win it, all that ring rust is going to come into play if you're against an active fighter, so first and foremost is get active, get rid of the ring rust, and get a couple of fights under the belt, and then
Definitely. Well, it's always good to get a catch up with you. Obviously, I know we keep our back and forth sort of online all the time, so it's not like we don't talk. We only speak when we have Zooms, but we always have a wee talk. But I'm sure obviously I'll drop you a text once I've spoke to Potty here and see if we can get you some sparring range for a few weeks' time.
Nice one, 100%.
Definitely. But look, obviously it was good catching up with you. Obviously nice for you obviously to give us a wee bit of an exclusive and obviously dropping your fight news. We'll look forward to obviously seeing you back in action and moving to 5-0.
Nice one, man.
All right, Kevin. Cheers. Take care.
Nice one. Chat,
Thank you. Thanks. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye.